Hello, everyone. Today, I'll be sharing with you what is the relationship between store design and brand awareness? This is a question many sellers inevitably encounter when sales gradually stabilize and they start talking about branding. You may have also experienced this confusion. I already have products and a stable customer base, but customers seem to not remember who I am. So you start thinking, should I build a brand? Should I upgrade the visuals? Should I redesign the store? But in numerous real stores, one conclusion has been repeatedly verified. A large part of a customer's brand awareness is actually subtly shaped by store design. First, the conclusion. Store design is the first language of brand awareness. This is the core of understanding the relationship between the two. Brand awareness isn't formed simply by a customer reading your introduction and remembering your name. It's more like a process. Customers repeatedly enter your store, gradually forming an overall judgment of you through repeated contact. Store design, in this process, is the medium through which users interact most frequently and have the most direct impact. Store design is not just decoration for the brand, but rather its expression on the page. 2. User brand awareness often occurs at the unconscious level. This is why many sellers underestimate the role of store design. We often assume brand awareness comes from brand story, brand slogan, brand philosophy. But the actual user's cognitive path is often a glance at the page, a sense of the atmosphere, forming a vague impression. These impressions are usually, is this store stable? Does it seem like it's been around for a long time? Is it reliable? And these judgments almost entirely come from the overall feeling conveyed by the store design. 3. The first role of store design in brand awareness, making users remember you. Many stores' problem isn't poor sales, but rather, they're forgotten after the sale. The reason is often not that the product is bad, but that the page doesn't leave any identifiable points. If your store's design is similar to your competitors', its visual language lacks continuity, it changes daily, then users will find it difficult to form a clear impression. The first step in brand recognition isn't being liked, but being differentiated. And store design is the primary tool for achieving differentiation. Fourth, the second function, letting users know what kind of brand you are. A brand isn't a single sentence, but a positioning judgment. After users have repeatedly interacted with your store, they will mentally label you, for example, value for money, professional, design-oriented, function-driven. This label isn't something you write down, but rather the result of the long-term message conveyed by your design. If your design style, sometimes very cheap, sometimes very high-end, sometimes very emotional, then users will find it difficult to judge. What exactly do you do? And a vague positioning is equivalent to no brand recognition. V. The third function, continuously reinforcing the implication of this is a long-established store. This is a crucial yet often overlooked aspect of brand perception. A truly branded store often gives users the feeling, it's always been here. This long-term presence isn't based on establishment time, but rather on the store's design, stability, consistency, continuity. If every time a user enters the store, they see a familiar structure, a familiar style, a familiar expression, their subconscious will automatically judge, this is a long-established brand. 6. Why frequent renovations can damage brand perception. This is a pitfall many sellers fall into when upgrading their brand. They think, to brand, you need a major overhaul, a complete makeover. But the result is often, user memory is repeatedly interrupted, recognition is weakened, brand impression becomes more blurred. Building brand perception relies on repetition and stability, not constant overhaul. Truly effective upgrades often involve structure remaining unchanged, logic unchanged, and only gradual optimization of details. 7. The relationship between store design and brand awareness is essentially a form of long-term training. You can understand brand awareness as a feeling that users are trained to develop. Storage design is precisely the teaching material that is repeatedly used in this training process. If this teaching material is inconsistent, disorganized, or emotionally unstable, then users will naturally not learn who you are. FATE, a very practical self-check method for brand awareness. Ask yourself this question. If users only remember a feeling about you, but not your name, what would that feel like? If you can't answer that, the store design has definitely not yet formed an effective expression in terms of brand awareness. A very practical piece of advice for sellers. If you want to build brand awareness through store design, don't rush to create brand visuals. More importantly, first achieve a consistently stable style, consistent logical expression, a unified page aesthetic. When these foundations are in place, brand awareness will often emerge naturally. In short, store design is the earliest and most enduring entry point for brand recognition. It doesn't convince users with a single sentence, but rather through repeated visits, allowing users to gradually form their judgment. I recognize this store, I understand it, I trust it. When your store design becomes stable, clear, consistent, and sustainable, brand recognition is often already quietly taking shape.